Okay, so I had my custody conference this morning with Judge Benoni, um, and Gino and his attorney, and his girlfriend was there. She had to stay in the hallway though. Um, and she had like 2 inches of foundation caked all over her face and neck, but anyways. So, the judge was actually nice to me today. She didn't scream and yell. She seemed semi-sympathetic. Um, But, so her original order said that I was supposed to get a mental eval from Dr. Bush. And I had called Dr. Bush, but he was on a medical leave. And then I went to jail and I had a mental eval done in jail. And I called Judge Benoni's chambers not long, sometime after I got out of jail, asking if the mental eval that I had done in jail would be sufficient for court. And they said yes. Well, Judge Benoni said it's not, which she probably recognized the name of the girl who she has an ongoing crazy custody case with, who did my eval. But anyway, she's like, she's not a psychologist. It doesn't say anywhere that she's a psychologist, and we need the psychologist to do it, who I originally recommended, before she'll take me off supervised visits. So I explained we only had one visit because, it's $80 an hour. And I asked, well, she offered actually, before I was already going to mention it though, but she said, is there, if there's a third party that you guys can agree on, then, a third party could supervise. And I said, yes, Jen, I live with Jen, and she's been, a friend of mine and Gino's for like 12 years, and she would do it. So him and his attorney start whispering, Gino and his attorney back and forth. And so Eric D., Gino's attorney, says, well, he would be fine with Jen, but since me and Jen are such good friends, if I were to do something to the children, then he doesn't believe that Jen would report it. So, which is ridiculous. I've babysat Jen's kids since they were newborns, and vice versa. She's babysat mine since they were newborns. And he's just doing that as another way to hurt me. That's all that is another way to hurt me. And so Judge Benoni, said she's going to call some places today to try to find if there's another place that's cheaper, if she can find a cheaper place for us to have our visits in the meantime. And that she's going to call Dr. Bush and try to get a fast track, psych eval done on me. And once I have the psych eval done, then we will have another conference. But she did say multiple times that she would like to see this get back on track, which I, told them that, what I want is ultimately my kids back, and I have got to get on my feet in the meantime. I wanted the unsupervised visits. Oh, but I did ask for phone calls, and she is going to give me phone calls, which they haven't been giving me phone calls, really, and I've been asking for them almost every day. Last time I asked was yesterday, and they've only called me 4 times. And they had me on speakerphone, the girlfriend. So she was trying to say, Gino interrupted and had his attorney interrupt or whatever and say, well, and his attorney, I know he even felt bad saying this, and he looked over at me over his glasses and had his hands up. He's like, I'm not saying whether you did or whether she did this or not, but apparently, and this is probably the girlfriend wanting him to say this because the girlfriend's supervising these phone calls, but he said, but apparently, there was a situation, he says, that where she had told the children over the phone that it was $80 an hour, or it cost money to see them, and in turn, that made Gino look bad as a dad because it's costing me money to see them. So, anyways, the judge just kind of dismissed that, rolled her eyes, and I had to tell Caleb an answer, and the answer is the truth, But the judge said from now on, she said, the kids are going to have questions. She's like, I'm sure the kids have been through hell and back by now at this point. And I'm like, yes, and to answer their questions, you just say, me and your dad are trying to work it out. So, That's what I'm going to say from now on if they ask questions, and hopefully that'll be the case, that we are trying to work it out. But obviously we aren't, because it's just disgusting that he's trying to keep my kids from me. So he could have let Jen, I could see my kids way more if Jen was supervising, because I wouldn't have to pay, and it would be way more convenient and all of those things for everybody. But no, he wants to keep me from my kids because this is another way to hurt me. It's disgusting. And the judge said, let's try to get this wrapped up. I would like to see this case get wrapped up. I'm like, me too, like, she's like, this has just been ongoing. She's like, let's try to get it done without criminal charges on anybody else. No more criminal charges. Let's just try to get this done without anyone else going to jail. And, but I mean, hopefully she can see that it's him. Like, I can't even talk to my kids on the phone. Like, really, so she's like, no, she's going to be able to talk to her kids on the phone. So, and she said she would put it in there so it didn't affect, the PFA or whatever, where he could call me. We'll see how this works. They'll probably still call from Melissa's phone, I can only imagine. But hopefully they'll just call me from his phone and they can have a normal conversation without being supervised. I don't know. But it is progress, I guess. It's some progress. Couple things. So they've terminated my spousal support. The day after I got out of jail, I went to try to file more spousal support to find out that it's been permanently terminated because of my actions against the defendant. And I've got the order in here. And it does say that. So I just thought it was just terminated while I was in jail, not permanently terminated. I'm like, okay, this happened. I supposedly strangled him when we were still married and living together, which we are still married, and this has been a year and a half ago, and I had support all this time, and I have a 3-year PFA against him. So anyways, they take me back. So I go to the spousal support floor to get a copy of the order, because the Blackburn Center, who may or may not represent me, I don't know, the Blackburn Center wanted me to get a copy of the order saying this, because nobody can believe that I'm getting my spousal support canceled. So this is where things kind of got crazy. So I go to the spousal support floor, and I explained to the lady, and she's like, let me see if I can find someone to talk to you. So the lady who I talked to last time, plus a guy, comes out, and they're like, what's going on here? What kind of charges are these? Why did you go to jail? Blah, blah, blah. These are pretty serious, it may be hard to get this turned around. And I'm like, look, I did not strangle the guy, I went to jail for other reasons too, and I can see it being canceled in jail, but I should be able to reapply. I was getting spousal support for a whole year before I went to jail, and these charges already existed. I have the 3-year PFA, blah, blah, blah. So basically, I just wanted them to tell me, because they had actually already told me, and I wrote it down, what to file. What do I need to file to get more spousal support? Well, they were refusing to tell me, and they were kind of getting hostile with me. And I'm like, just tell me what it is. You already told me. I was here December 31st, and you already told me. And the Blackburn Center, come to find out, they were getting so upset and mad. They said, don't ask that again, because we're not legally allowed to tell you. I'm like, well, she just told me in December, and that's all I want. Just tell me what to file, because I don't know what to file. I don't have an attorney, Go to the law library, file a motion, but they won't tell me what motion to file. Come to find out, it's illegal for them to tell me what motion to file. So the Blackburn Center was like, well, you just don't be talking to these people, because you're just going to get them upset. It's illegal for them. I'm like, she's like, she was doing you a favor by telling you what motion to file when you were there in December. But in front of her boss, she's not going to say that. I'm like, well, I didn't know that it was illegal. I just thought, you already told me once, please